Hello everyone. So today I want to talk about keyboards. I need a keyboard for my miniature computer, and as I have predicted, this is extremely complicated thing to resolve, I guess. So here are a few keyboards. This is obviously a keyboard that I use pretty much daily, and it looks like that. This is Apple keyboard actually, and I mean, this is some laptop keyboard. The thing is, all these have in common one thing: they are membrane keyboards, and as such, they are made for specific purpose. And basically, you cannot get keyboards like this in any size you want. So this is the main board for the computer, and it is roughly 170 millimeters across, but it is obvious that none of these keyboards will match this board, and this is pretty much true for 99.9% of keyboards out there in the world. So the question is, how do I solve this problem? And honestly, I don't really know. So the first thing that I did was I was looking for some SMD tactile switches that fulfill the specifications pretty much. And so these switches were fairly expensive, but they were pretty much only ones that have specified 50 grams of actuation force, which is in the ballpark where the keyboard should be. However, when I measured these, the actuation force was only 36 grams or something like that. And so I was like, okay, this is not great because the travel distance is quite short with these, obviously. But anyway, let's try it. So I have downloaded the 3D model and did a little bit of modeling, and I printed grid like this, and I have tried it, and it was shit. Then upon further inspection, I have noticed that not only the actuation force is incorrect, but the travel distance is only 0.1 millimeter, which is like barely noticeable. So I wanted to say that I 3D printed domes, but I glued with super glue. I put a drop of super glue on each button, so I thought that maybe if it would be a little bit taller, then the actuation distance, the travel distance would be a little bit larger. I mean, you can't really see that. The drop was maybe like 0.2 millimeter in height, but like I can feel that I am pressing it just barely. So this is not really great. And do not think that this is manufactured by some Ying Yang from Shenzhen. This is Panasonic switches. So what the fuck? So after a bit more doom scrolling on Farnell, I have found these switches. These are also like, I don't know, maybe 50 or 60 grams, I forgot. So this had also longer travel distance, which I have confirmed that it is correct. The switch distance is also correct. So I have assembled new board, and this time I have glued the grid onto it, which holds the buttons in place. And this is because otherwise I can't really tell if if you hold this with hand and you try to press the button, it's weird. It's not doesn't feel natural, I guess you could say. And this is not really inspired by Apple keyboard, it's just I want keycaps to be white and I want grid to be as precise as possible, so I got most opaque resin as I could. I don't think I would mind this grid design. I used keyboard like that before and it was perfectly fine. And so I was thinking about a good way to test this keyboard, because I cannot really type on it. First of all, it is not it doesn't have all the letters, and even if it did, it's not connected to anything. So if I try to do this, I can feel that the key is pressed, but like if I do this, I am not certain if I really pressed it or not. Like If I do it slowly, I can definitely feel that I pressed it. It is very obvious, but if I tap on it, I cannot tell really. And I think the main problem is the travel distance. So also sound-wise, this keyboard sounds a little bit plasticky in my opinion, but that's fine. Like the Apple keyboard is much better in my opinion. The lack of responsiveness can be optimized by using stronger actuation force, but so this is classic 130 or something, 150 gram switch. It is definitely much more louder than this one. And also you would be quite tired typing with these ones. They are much better for thumbs. And I think that this is quite unfortunate that this did not work out, because like I can print a handful of these keycaps in like 10 minutes. So this is pretty great. And question is there any alternative to tactile switches? And there are a few obviously, but one that can be done relatively easily is rubber domes. So I have printed a form for this one. It did not survive vulcanizing in the oven, and I think I got lucky because, well, I have eyeballed the dimensions that I will probably need, and turns out the actuation force of this one is about 70 grams, so I was pretty close. Now I am thinking that I have this grid that I printed and broken. I have this one dome, singular, and I have a bunch of these keycaps, so I will assemble this and I will test if this will work well. Sorry for the noise, the dog is having too much fun. So this thing is ready to be assembled, but it needed a little bit of hacking because I have printed these notches into the keycaps. I guess you can see it right there. They are very subtle, and this has also like notches right here. So this is holding the key, and with these switches it has the benefit of this key not rocking back and forth too much basically. And these keys are designed for these switches originally. And so with the other switch, it has a little bit taller, like the button portion, I guess you can call it. And this switch can rock quite a bit this way, but because there is this notch, it cannot rock too much this way. But the solution is fairly obvious, just do notches on all four sides. So this is glued in, and this keycap I have to glue the silicone, well, as much as it's possible to glue silicone onto the keycap, and I had to remove this part of plastic because the diameter is obviously too large. But this should slide right in, and oh boy, this has travel. Yeah, this is good. Okay, so now I have this on inclined plane and I am sitting next to it, and this is wonderful. It's not held in there, but like, yeah, this is it, man. Yeah, this kind of action is not great, but if it would be held there by those stabs, I think that would be quite acceptable. And even if I take my other keyboard, like, yeah, just look at this. This keyboard is quite bad. Like, I'm not even pressing this key. The Apple keyboard has scissor mechanism, so wherever you press the key, it does like actuate over the whole distance of the key, which would be quite tricky to implement in my case. I mean, I'm not implementing scissor mechanism myself, that is impossible. But more reasons why this is horrifying is these silicone caps are not easy to make. Like, I would basically have a contact here, then say contact here, and there would be like half moon like this, and half moon like this. and I would have to use carbon contacts. But the problem is, with carbon contacts, if there will be any amount of dust, this would stop working. The obvious solution would be to make a huge ass mold for these domes and basically make them all in one huge membrane. But that is pretty much impossible for me, I think. Now, maybe before I continue, there are other things to note. For example, the height of the keyboard. I need this to be as slim as possible. This keyboard is currently about 3 millimeters thick. I'm counting with pretty much 1.5 millimeters of PCB, which will be just 0.5 millimeter PCB and then aluminum heat spreading plate. Another important thing is the keyboard layout. So first of all, the person who put control not on the very bottom left corner deserves to have bad things happen to them. Second of all, small things like return, like I think return should be more tall than wide. Then who needs right shift? Like, what the fuck? In search for more solutions, I was thinking about like, okay, so what am I like able to tolerate? And I was thinking, okay, I can tolerate 1 hinge. So let's imagine 1 hinge here. This is the PCB, and let's put lever here and put keycap here. Now, if this would be some piece of flat bar, like let's do like this. Well, you get what I mean. And let's put a switch here, like normal tactile switch, but one with stronger actuation force. So the thing you would solve with this is that the keycap would not twist, the actuation distance would be quite large, and actuation force can be maintained at desirable like levels, I guess you can say. And so the way this would work is that you would have to stack these keys and have another lever here. And so I was thinking about this, and in 2 millimeters, nope, not happening. And even this would be big ask, because I would probably have to manufacture like some brass piece that would be like L-shaped and be something like this, and I would solder it somehow. So I did a bit more browsing on the internet, and I found this keyboard switch, which is SMT. It is about 3 millimeters thick, and it is great, pretty much. However, it is a little bit too wide. Like, standard for keyboards is about 16 millimeter for keycap. I would like to use a little bit smaller keycap because I think I can do, let me see, I have about 160 millimeters and let's say 13 keys. Yeah, that would be 12 millimeters keycap. Sounds good. I guess it's good to start with layout first and then calculate the keycap size, but I did that and it came out to 10 millimeters because I want to have as full keyboard layout as possible. Obviously the things do not have to be like laid out as they are in a like full-size keyboard, but like I can move arrow keys somewhere a little bit else, I can move numerical keys somewhere a little bit else, because the other problem is, I mean, back to this keyboard, like some of these keyboards like don't have these keys basically, and like I need these keys, and if you notice, like you couldn't really move them on these with some function key because I have I already have 4 characters on these keys, so that would be like very difficult to implement. So I would like to have 14 keys on this main section, then arrow keys would be probably moved down, numpad would be probably moved up, and this somewhere there as well. But I mean, if I spread these characters a little bit more over the whole keyboard, I can go with 12 keys on this section, so it would be like this with enter here. Yeah, so let's say I will do 165 millimeters divided by 12. Like, I can find some millimeters. 1375. So it would be possible for me to use this switch. However, look at the price. $3.61 per one piece. Okay, let's say I buy 50, then it's still $3 per one piece. That's a lot of dollars. And so finally I was looking at the AliExpress and I found this keyboard. It looks mostly fine. I found also the one that has like the split spacebar and the trackpad or track point in the middle of there. It's I think that one was a little bit weirder, I guess. I don't know. Dude, what the fuck? I already clicked on this image, so it is larger, and there is still this bloody zoom but you can still see weird things on this layout. For example, this A key is like weirdly wide. There is no tab button, which I definitely need. This layout here is just bad. This keyboard looks fine. The layout is mostly standard. Yeah, from this image I was able to calculate that the fucking... Anyway, so from this image I was able to calculate that the key portion of this keyboard is exactly the size I want. The layout looks fine, so I will buy this one. From what I've read, the trackball is shit. This kind of scroll wheel probably wouldn't work for me because it would be too deep. But yeah, overall the layout looks great. The price is fairly good. The only issue could be that the size, like thickness, will be too much, but we will see, I guess, when I get it. And what is this? Violence button. Hell yeah! So I don't have any idea what the actuation force on this one would be. The travel would be likely good from the looks of it. It says that it is membrane, so there are also keyboards that are designed to be like used with thumbs, and they are definitely not great for typing with like when sitting next to the computer. And so this is pretty much where I am now. I don't have any good solutions. I would appreciate if anybody has like some suggestions. The thing about electronics is that even if they are like very complex, you can read through many data sheets for many hours, but eventually you will find some solution that is good. With this, like, I don't know. Maybe I will buy a sample of those cherry switches and I will use them. I will spend shitload of money on them and maybe that will be fine. That would be nice if anybody has some like copycat seller of these switches. That would be pretty amazing. If I can get these for like third of the price, that would be... I would buy 100 of them immediately. But yeah, that's about it. Please send help. Bye. Man, but it's so good. It's so good. Like it has that snap. It has better snap than Apple.